We shall take back what once was ours. I will do all this and restore the lost glory of the undead. The world will be ours again.
So, you know what's kind of weird? Yeah, there's
There's
skeletons,
a bunch
man.
of skeletons.
You might want to watch out. Content warning for this video, however, Dalsson reminded me, this video does include skeletons.
Damn it,
In fact,
Dalsson,
I'm
you
going to
fucking
make-
peeked the microphone, you piece of
Oh,
shit.
did
Yeah, you probably destroyed the audio with that. That clipped the shit out of the audio, my man.
God damn it.
Anyway.
Why would you do that?
But yeah, as you can see, content warning skeletons. One of the things, like I was about to start, that a lot of these games, like these indie games that have these sort of like low poly aesthetic and
You
that are
just
indie
keep
games
fucking
studio.
going.
Yeah, just
I
a
know.
well of skeletons. I love it.
These indie studios have usually what I do is I have to give them like a little bit of benefit of the doubt for a lot of stuff. Like, you know, it won't have the best splash screen art because, like, this is an indie studio. They don't got enough money for the real good shit. Maybe it won't have, like, fantastic music. It won't have, like, these levels of polish that I expect from larger game studios because, of course, they won't. It's an indie studio. I didn't have to give this game the benefit of the doubt for that. Everything in this, like, as far as the polish goes, this game is actually really, really fantastic as far as that goes. The first thing you're greeted to is a really, really nice splash art of your fucking skeleton character summoning some goddamn skeletons. It looks really good, and then you're greeted to the very, very nice score of this game. I was surprised by just how much polish this game has. Like,
I mean, if you're mentioning the music at all, it's at least decent.
oh yeah, it's really good. There aren't as many tracks as I would like, but all of the tracks are really
Yeah.
good, so I'm not, like, the fact that, like, the same track plays over and over again in the forest zone, it doesn't get grating, and that's, I feel like a testament to that.
This game looks like the opposite of a tower defense.
Essentially.
So,
You're
would
just
you say
standing
it's
there
a little
spawning
Pikmin-y?
dudes.
Because my first impression is Pikmin with this, like, part of it. you know?
I would definitely say it's very reminiscent of Pikmin and, fucking,
Overlord.
Overlord, yeah. It's super reminiscent of those games.
Right. This
No,
this,
the
This
whole
looks like
spawning
less
all
of
of
a puzzle game, though.
Yeah.
it's a lot less of a puzzle game, especially in the beginning. So here's essentially how it plays. Of course, you play as a necromancer, and you raise your a bunch of undead dudes. Up in the corner, you see I have like a little bar around my health and mana that has a bunch of like purple bars and blue bars on it. Those are all of the skeletons I have, and the bars, like when it reaches the end, is like the max amount of skeletons that I have. You can see like as the tree end kills them, it gets rid of some of the bars.
Right.
So essentially, and you have a cooldown on when you can resurrect skeletons and stuff. And yeah, it's a game where you play as a death necromancer.
Okay.
And it does a very good job of that. There's also, of course, like as you can see, a bunch of RPG elements, and you know,
Yeah.
you get books, skulls, and necklaces, which can all give you different things.
Oh, so it's
different
kind of
little
almost like
boosts.
Diablo-y in that.
Oh
sense.
yeah, it's very, very, very Diablo-y. It feels very Diablo-y, and that's one of the things I really like about the music, is the music also feels very Diablo-y.
Oh,
And
good.
yes, cat. And the
The cat's
so yeah,
distracting you.
my cat is distracting me. He's being a bastard. He won't shut the heck up. Another thing is you have also a bunch of spells that you can cast that can, you know, just kill people quicker or empower your dudes, do stuff like that. And you do quests for dudes. All of these quests get you money and experience. You'll get most of your experience for stuff, and with the experience, you can put points into things. And of course, what I did is, through this game, I min-maxed really hard on having command points, which, you know, is one of the parts of that. I put a ton of command in my
have
stuff.
more skeletons, right?
Yeah, meaning that I can have as many skeletons. Oh, and I'll explain this. This is the crypt where if you kill a certain amount of people, you can go into the crypt at any point in time whenever you find a waypoint and just summon however many of those that you want. Which
Oh, so each of the unit resurrected, each of the resurrected units have their own stats too.
Yes, each of the
That's really
resurrected
cool.
units have their own stats, and there are a bajillion different kinds. Well, not a bajillion, there's a couple different kinds. There's a few. There's enough to keep you entertained. And one of the things that I thought, like, early on in the game, like, what I was doing was I was min-maxing specifically for that thing. Min-maxing specifically to have as many skeletons as I can, and with the ability to, whenever I wanted, if I had a waypoint, which usually waypoints are pretty easy to find, like there's one right there, if I had a waypoint, then I would just be, like, almost overpowered. Because I could always just go back to the waypoint and get as many skeletons as I wanted. Like, I was thinking, you know, I expected that there wasn't going to be a lot of polish. I expected that would just make me super overpowered because they weren't thinking about the numbers. But the thing is, all of the RPG mechanics and all of the numbers were thought out really, really well. It seems like the game almost expects you to be like a dick-ass and min-max and stuff, so it always keeps a challenge rolling. At no point have I ever felt like I was overpowered or just being ridiculous because I put so much points into skeletons. You constantly ramp up, and as you ramp up in, like, skeleton numbers, you also get, like, enemies that are more strong, and cost more to summon. Like, you see some of the bars up in the thing are, yes, some of the bars up in the thing are bigger than, come on now. Some of the bars up in the thing are slightly bigger than other bars. Because some things require a little bit more, like those horsemen, for example. They require more to summon than the little skeleton archers. And it keeps ramping up the difficulty of enemies and ramping up the amount of... Or you could just have a million chickens. Or you could just have a million chickens. But yeah, the game's really...
The art style looks very similar to For the King.
Yeah, it really does.
Like, I don't know who the developer is, but I would almost think that they're the same developer.
So it looks like the combat looks a little bit clunky, like you actually fighting stuff.
It's a little bit clunky, but for the most part, it's not so much
zombie bears.
Yeah, you can summon zombie bears. But yeah, for the most part, it isn't that. For the most part, the combat isn't you fighting things unless you, like, min-max into that, which I didn't. But you know, of course, that's just you hitting things. I have an axe which attacks very slowly but does, like, a lot of upfront damage. My staff is a bone wall, which sort of works like that. And you can click to sell things from your inventory, which is really nice.
That is nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, this game
so
looks
yeah,
really...
this actually looks a lot more in depth than I was expecting it to be. I was kind of expecting it closer to Overlord, where it was like just a defined set of puzzles and stuff.
Yeah.
I almost feel like Overlord was caging on basically taking from Pikmin even harder, especially with the different colors and stuff. This one seems like it's almost trying to emulate, like, Diablo.
Yeah,
like
it's got some very sort of, I would say, simplish RPG mechanics. But all of the RPG mechanics are, like, the numbers are all really good. Nothing seems overpowered or ridiculous. Everything seems pretty set. Oh, and as you can see, I have like one particular enemy, like, that's resurrected, that's taking up most of my bar.
Yeah, that's like a unique guy, huh?
Yeah, that you can resurrect all of the bosses in this game.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and of course it's like, you know, you can have one boss and a couple of guys, or just a bunch of guys. It's all about, like, deciding which kind of way you want to take this.
Yeah, what type of necromancer do you want to be? Do you want to be the swarm necromancer? Do you want to be the loyal servant necromancer?
Yeah. There are a variety of ways to play this game, and
do you want to be
fun.
Barely a necromancer?
Yeah,
barely a necromancer who hits things with his axe. And one of the complaints I've seen a lot. I haven't actually finished this game, but based on, like, what I've seen, it looks like the game isn't super long.
Well, it kind of looked like it might have been pretty long.
It looks longer than I expected at first.
Yeah.
Based on
because there's
the map,
the
overworld map.
Yeah, the map, and it even said Arrow 1, so I assume that there's more to it than just the map that we saw.
Yeah. It's a little bit more. I think there's maybe 2 eras, but each of like the like places goes very quickly.
I see.
Yeah, like I guess you can kind of see the map in the corner.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's not that.
Each individual
Yeah.
zone doesn't look huge, but that's okay.
But yeah,
I feel like this is the kind of game for a very specific kind of person. Like Thel.
it's very short, but it's very sweet. It's very well thought out for what it is. They've spent a lot of time thinking about it, and it's really really good. It's everything I could have ever wanted out of this game. And yeah, like you said, it's not very much of a puzzle game. It's definitely not about like figuring out how to solve things based on like what things you have, sort of. It's more closely related to an RTS, I would say, but you have like 2 commands you can give your dudes. You can give them the attack in this direction command and follow me, which is, now we're moving faster. It's essentially, it gives your dudes and you 2 modes.
Like I said, it looks very much like a reverse tower defense.
Yeah, essentially.
So, but I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is nifty.
Yeah.
It's always fun to see like a normal genre flipped on its head, but I feel like it's just like kind of the natural progression of what happens if you take the necromancer class that everybody loves in action RPGs and just make a game that's solely about the necromancer class.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it does a very good job at that.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
here we
sounds
go.
great. Hey, look, 1,000,000 chickens. Just like, oh my
Oh.
god, look at how many chickens you can have.
Oh no, this is like not even close to how
That's
many
because the
chickens, like,
boss is taking up like half
Yeah, I
this
know,
bar,
but it's
so-
already a whole bunch of chickens with the eyes. There.
Oh, don't worry, I'll make more chickens. Later
Oh,
in the
no.
video, I will show you the chickening. But yeah, also another thing is, as you progress, you get more shops, and you can upgrade these shops, and they'll sell you different items of varying, rarity and quality. You can give them extra money so that some rare items will show up more at their shop and stuff like that. It's surprisingly robust.
Yeah, it does
It's-
sound pretty cool.
It's surprisingly a lot of things that I just didn't expect from the game.
Yeah.
I'm really happy it just turned out to be as
We
good as
shall
it did.
devour these lives.
Yeah, when I was
Yeah.
looking at the promotional materials for this, it was like the video didn't really impress me, but then I started looking at some of the screenshots for it, and it looked like it was more in depth than it looks at first glance. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I'm glad that seems to be the case.
yeah. Like
Yeah,
again,
this is actually a lot more exciting to me than like another Overlord type game, even though I do love those games to death.
Yeah, I was honestly really surprised. But yeah, here you can see I'm fighting against orcs, which are stronger than the human ones that I'm used to fighting. So they
Right.
have
So they killed
bigger-
all of your chickens.
Yeah, it looks like all
so
your
they just
chickens are
killed
dead
all
already.
of my chickens
My
immediately.
command cap has reached its limit.
But thankfully,
Yeah,
my bears are
okay.
still going at it.
You
Sort
shall
of.
serve
Oh, you lost the boss though.
Yeah.
not enough
It happens
men.
like that sometimes, especially when you meet like newer, bigger enemies. You'll just sort of end up in like, oh yeah, and when
But
you
then
lose
when
all
you
of
have newer, bigger enemies, you then get newer, bigger skeletons.
yeah, and you can summon them whenever you want if you kill enough of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Your
And whenever you whenever you either run out of enemies
is low.
or get low on health,
Uh-huh.
you gain a shield. Now, what I first thought is like I was thinking, because it took me a long time to die in this game.
Right.
When I first thought like death was going to be like absolutely nothing and completely meaningless, based on like a lot of everything that I had seen, because you resurrect almost immediately after death and you don't like lose a lot, but. And if you lose all of your skeletons, you can always just completely replenish your army by going back to the skeleton town.
Right.
But here's the thing. If you die, the entire map that you're on completely resets. So you have to kill everything again.
oh.
And one of the things that like you sort of have to do,
Oh, the orcs have hoarded massive amounts of loot.
yeah, and the evil should have it. Yeah, one of the things that you kind of like will want to do is full clear all of the maps. You don't need to do that to complete quests to continue on to like next zones, but full clearing all of the maps is usually generally a good idea
Right.
because it gives you
More
quest
items,
rewards,
more
and-
experience, etc.
Yeah, yeah. and also you can fill out the map with like the undead have completely taken this area, etc., etc.
Right.
It looks nice. You get a whole map full of just.
Oh,
dead
so it like tells you about map location and stuff too.
Yeah, it's very clear that that's one of the things that you want to do.
So does that mean potentially you would want to die so that you can re-clear a map?
Gather round.
Well, if once you finish clearing a map, the map is cleared forever.
Okay.
Yeah,
just
'cause
whatever,
you
like,
wouldn't be able to
current
die in
after
that
all.
map.
Yeah.
So you just lose you lose some progress essentially.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
Which
Losing progress is just a fine way to.
Yeah,
like, that's
especially late in the game, enemies get a lot harder, so losing progress can be kind of a lot more of a pain in the ass, especially when there's like 15 orc camps and you don't have like the ability to get as many orcs as the orc camps are summoning, so
Right.
you have to like play it really safe and sort of like draw out pods and stuff and like sort of think about how you're going to use your dudes and like which spells you're going to bring in, etc. There's a specific book that's really nice that sort of like this is another way you can play that doubles the amount of dudes you can have but lowers their damage and health by half.
Ah. Okay.
You want to go
and
full
it's-
Zerg Rush mode.
Yeah, it's a wonderful like, okay, this is one sort of way you can play it. The game is short, but there are a million ways you can play it, so you could like start another
Play
game
it a
after
whole bunch
it
of
and-
times too. if
Yeah,
you
play it
wanted
a
to.
whole bunch of times and play it a million different ways. See which work best and see how the game sort of runs around that. And it's really, really nice. I love it.
So you would say it
Right.
has good replayability then?
Oh yeah, very good replayability.
Charge.
All right.
Simple RPG mechanics, but the RPG mechanics work and are very, very surprisingly good.
All right.
You want me to skip ahead a little bit?
Yeah, skip ahead a little bit.
What do we want to see? The chicken apocalypse?
Yeah.
Chicken pop.
2028, that might be good.
All right.
A little bit farther than this, actually.
Oh,
Ah,
A
there
little
it
bit
is.
before.
You shall serve me.
Oh
don't
my
make me
God.
jump back and forth too many times. I have to edit every cut. But here we
Right.
go.
Oh, yeah, okay. So
Good enough.
here now I have a completely bar filled with chickens. Now I got a quest to kill the chicken brothers that was given to me by the white skeleton. So here is me killing the chicken brothers with a ton of chickens. You can see the chicken brothers here, Gus and Max.
Uh-huh.
So yeah,
That is so many chickens.
it is so many chickens. Now,
And-
at some point while retrieving the chickens, I lost my sword, and I don't know what happened to it. Here's me realizing I lost my weapon.
Oops.
I see.
So I have to
Is
go.
the quest to kill them with chickens or?
The quest is just to kill them. I don't necessarily need to kill them with chickens, but I thought that'd be fun.
Yeah, well, that makes
And as
sense.
you can see, they do a shit ton of damage to me, so I gotta heal myself up.
So,
And they've killed almost half of my chickens.
so did you take the thing that doubles your units or not?
Not for this particular one.
So potentially you
I
could
only-
have even twice as many chickens.
I could have twice as many chickens that do half the damage, yes.
You could have many, many more chickens.
Yes. Okay. And there I
Wow.
killed Gus. And now I'm going to revive Gus so that he can be the king of
King
the
of
chickens.
the chickens,
You
yes.
shall serve me.
Now
Yeah,
this
Max.
course of-
Arise, chicken, arise.
Chicken arise.
There it is. What about Max? Why can't you
Unfortunately,
arise
I
that
don't
chicken?
have enough chicken
Oh,
room
space.
for Max.
You don't have
Yeah.
enough room for chickens.
And like, yeah, it will tell you just can't revive them. But yeah, previously, before I got this quest, the white skeleton had asked me to blow up a wall and save the pink skeleton, who was unfortunately trapped.
Dead.
probably Due to... Well, I mean, yes, dead, of course, because he is a skeleton, but he was trapped inside of a wall. So yeah, here I'm just going to go turn this quest into the white
I
skeleton.
shall fulfill
Right.
my destiny once.
Dude, why is he a hipster?
Time.
Because this game has some of the best references. The writing is really clever in this game. Usually what they would do for that reference is just say, I am the danger. But no, they were much more clever than that.
What did they do?
El Pollos Hermanos, the chicken brothers. And Gus
Oh.
was the chicken brother.
Oh. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. And that was the skeleton game. It was
sure
a lot of
was.
fun. Definitely recommend. Surprisingly good.
Yeah, I probably am gonna really try and play it now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next time, and remember, as always,
Stay beautiful.